Welcome back, folks. This is Gabriel Knight, Sins of the Fathers, here on the Heavy Base X channel. Today we're starting off day 1 inside Gabriel Knight's bookstore, St. George's Bookshop, and now we're taking a look at the paper. At the time, this was where New Orleans was under a siege from voodoo murders, where 6 murders have taken place, and of course at this point there would be another one. So every time you read the paper, that is always the objective for each day. You also get a point, so just kind of remember a few things here. Paper always picks things up. Now, unlike the original, they have changed the things here. Next up is getting the book. This book here belonged to Gabriel's grandfather, known as Philip, and it's kind of freaky, especially when one of the items looks like a certain amulet from the intro. You'll probably discover that the Night Line, as it were, has been getting intense nightmares as of late. Of course, Gabriel's actual parents were killed, sadly. So, let's get several things out of the way.
Windows of St. George's.
Picking up that book is not necessarily needed, but you will need a couple of things. So, as you probably noticed, the balcony floor is unsafe and stuff, so
the windows of St. George.
Take a listen. St. George's is actually at Bourbon Street. You can take a look at most of the items here. For instance, Grace's coat here is a classic trench coat. Pastry liquor taste, and then your own leather jacket.
Gabriel didn't eat for 3 weeks after splurging on that
black leather coat. He couldn't eat for 3 weeks because of that. At least he's starved. Right. Now we're going to take a look at the bookshelf. There's a few books that we do need to keep an eye on. The first thing we notice is that we need a little something of German poetry.
Kriegen in meinen Schlaf, die Seele wühlen sie, lebendig zum Fraß. Feurigen Atems, gespaltene Zunge, genießen sie jedes Mal.
That's nice. Kinda creepy, though. Who's the author?
Heinz Ritter. I'm not sure what it says, but I get the feeling this guy was one sick puppy.
Actually, it kind of makes sense later on because that book is going to be most things in this game are going to be useful to you. The world of the German to English dictionary. So,
I wonder if Mosley
most importantly, there's a few, you might need the German book later on. Much definitely need the German book.
Reise means a journey.
I'm just going through the frickin' list, but you do eventually go to another 2 places beyond New Orleans, for instance. And that's when the difficult part of the game kicks off. But for now, like most things, we're going to be heading off to, we're going to be doing most of our adventure around New Orleans, so... Also, World of Snakes. Keep an eye on this. This may come in handy pretty much in the future. Especially the part where they hunt in the attractive vibrations and attack, or
associated with snakes.
previous attack for a meal. So, also Grace chimes in that most snakes are used for mythological purposes, which includes dragons, sea monsters, and everything else. So, one last take a look, and I think we'll move on. Right. There are new places to pick up certain items. The first thing you'll be noticing is picking up go through the counter. Now it contains quite a few items. 2 of them we are going to need for today. The magnifying glass.
No, Sherlock. Just bring it back when we get the next estate shipment.
And then we have a pair of tweezers. The tweezers will come in handy.
Hey, you're beginning to look a bit
probably
stuffy.
next part, but that's all you just need to do. But love the music, by the way. Love it. The garter and the freaking mask is from Mardi Gras, so that's not important.
Local interest piece on the store.
Archive here. The store is on its basic last legs, as it were, because it's a bookstore and he's not running it well, and promotions couldn't do for shit.
Seems like a nice place to visit.
And that's really you need to do.
Just a few self-help
There are
books.
several things in
That
here
one
which are
top
sort of
was a
like
joke
references
piece.
elsewhere, but Jane Jensen decided to place them in one
The
book.
Blake Backlash
And of course,
series.
his claim to fame, of course, is
My
the Blake
literary claim to
Backlash
fame,
series,
such as it
which
is.
kind of like is sort of like, you know, Jane Jensen wrote Gabriel Knight, for instance. He has 3 tales so far, and they're
Grace's
pretty
resume.
interesting. Grace's
She was
resume,
way
though,
overqualified.
way overqualified, and the only person
And also
ever
the only
applied.
person who applied.
Gabriel and Grace are basically this game's they're like the best working pairing ever. So there's a couple of things you may notice
The
as well.
welcome mat is well
Notice the
worn.
welcome mat too.
Unfortunately,
And
that's only
that's
because
really about it.
Gabriel picked
So
it up
that's all I can
secondhand,
see.
not because of the
You can only take
stampede of
you can only
customer.
take a few points. We're not gonna go behind. We're not gonna head back to Gabriel's bedroom. On the other hand, because we're gonna wait till like day 3 before we get to take items from there. But you can, however, get some coffee. Repeat this process again, and do this as much as you can without the need to go to the toilet. Sierra physics, ladies and gentlemen. Sierra physics. Just pretty much just what it says on the tin, really. Good. And now we get to do one of the
Don't
best
mind if I
things.
do.
Don't mind if I
Do
do.
what?
Oh, nothing.
Oh, nothing. Right. Now, talk to Grace. Grace, talking to people will unlock
minute,
certain
Ray?
things in this
What's
game. This is how they decided to do this. First off,
What do
the
you know
white
about
labeled
voodoo?
conversation
much of
topics,
anything about
they're
it
just
until you started
casual,
researching it for your book.
they're just
Now I
basically
know that it's
filler
active in the city.
conversations.
There's that shop
What
and
you
museum.
also need to
It
note
can
as
clearly be
well
dangerous
is,
in the wrong
in this
hands.
game,
You should be careful
the only way you can
investigating
make progress is if you click on
What
the
do you know
yellow
about the voodoo
topics.
murders?
it. Just what I
But
read in
since
the paper,
Grace is
same as
pretty
you.
much our go-to person,
Did you
so
find
let's
any
go.
good voodoo
So
resources for
clicking
me?
on
The
this
best
one is
in
one of the
city
yellow
are
clicks.
supposedly the Dixie
This will add
Vine
2 new
Drugstore
areas
and
to the
the
area. We
Historical
can't go
Museum
to
of Voodoo.
neither of those
Both
until
are right
much
here in
later.
the French Quarter.
Dixieland
How would I
Drugstore
ever
and the
manage
Voodoo
without you?
Museum.
You? Give me a break.
Let's see.
The
So
devil himself
that
couldn't change you.
moves on to
Well,
there.
if the devil had great legs,
And of course,
perhaps.
Gabriel is a
Like
classic
those.
flirt. Well,
And a
in
riveting
this one,
personality, I'm
sure,
sure.
he is a great
If you need
flirt.
any more
But in Gabriel
research
Knight
done, just
2,
ask.
he's
Not as
not
though
much of
we're
a flirt.
swamped
I
with
think he's more of a badass crime solver.
What can you tell me about?
And you can
I've
actually
only
do
been
some
here 2 months, but I
conversation
love it.
pieces,
It's so much
just
more
pretty much
alive
talking
than
about other
any place
people.
I've been. It feels
Gotta
like
say though, this is one of the
anything's
more
possible here.
improvements to the series because it's like now you can actually see
Tell me
their
about-
facial
What do you
expressions
want to know?
as well as they're moving out. So
How do you like working at St. George's Books?
Well, it's
you
not
can ask her
exactly
for a date.
huge
She'll
intellectual
tell you
challenge.
outright
Although
no.
the
And
map
why
in your
is that?
record
Well,
books
well,
could
it's
confuse
mostly due to the
Einstein.
fact that
Still, I love
eventually
books.
it's
And
just
a nice way to pay
well,
the bills while I
you
explore
know.
the city for a summer. If you ever
it's
can,
not like
that
it's gonna
is.
happen in the future or anything. Oh wait, it kind of did.
Nothing.
It's by the way, Gabriel's like it's rude to ask people her.
So,
Your use of
Mathematics
mathematics, for
for one
one
thing
thing. These books are unbelievable.
what can I say?
Basically,
I
she
refuse to be
chastises
bound
him
by
in the
rules.
The
math
strap
book.
marks on your bedpost speak otherwise.
Ugh. Also, click
Do you
on this.
have
The
messages
messages
for
are
me?
more important than this
Your
one
friend
because
Detective
mostly
Mosley
to
called. Talkative, isn't he?
Especially with
First
you.
off, we have Detective
What do they want?
Mosley, which
He
is of
told
course
me to tell
Gabriel
you that
Knight's
his
best
mother's
friend in
maiden
the
name is
police
Humphrey,
department.
and
And
he
his
left some
liaison, for
photos for
instance.
you at the station.
We're gonna be
at
going
the
to
front
him
desk.
later
It's
on.
about time.
Let me guess. This
And
has
of course,
to do
it's
with the
like,
voodoo
you know,
murders,
we have
right?
pictures of the
Some
voodoo
kind
murders.
inside police information.
In
Did
this
you tell him
game,
put
we
it in
have
your
to
new
we
book?
have to find
Maybe.
the
A
we have to
writer
go
has a
find
certain
mostly,
obligation to his
and
readers.
that involves actually going to do
Gabriel,
things. So
you know
that's
you'll
the
never
next
put him
part.
in your book. Your main character's a female orthodontist. You're gonna be reincarnated as a pit bull if you keep screwing with your karma.
As long as it's a male people with a really big.
That's enough. Thanks.
Oh, of course, this is a kid. Click on the
Do you
message
have
again,
messages from
and we
You got
find
a
out
call
that
from
someone
someone
called
named
Wolfgang Ritter.
He was calling from Germany.
Which is interesting
He told me
because
it
you
was
may want to
urgent.
keep an eye on
Maybe
this
you
one.
should give him a call.
Wolfgang
Oh,
Ritter.
Germany. Like hell.
We're not
If
gonna.
it's really
Well, I'm not
important, he'll
gonna
call
throw
back.
much details out there,
Well,
but
fine.
he is a
Let's
very
just hope
important
he's not
character
the
for later
German
on
lottery
in the
for
story.
pitiful American
Later
authors.
on, much later on, if we get that far. Because So
Do you
this gives
have
a
messages for me?
And he has the messages,
grandmother
and your
called.
grandmother
Keep me
calls. And
going.
here is one of my
What did she say?
issues with
Did she
this
sound good?
remix so
She sounded
far.
great. We had a nice
You
little chat
cannot go visit your
Grace.
grandmother
Don't worry,
in
I
the
didn't go into
in the
detail about your
original.
cardinal
You can
sins.
visit your grandmother
Not that
as
anything about you
soon
could surprise
as
her.
you get her
She adores you
location
anyway.
on the map.
She's my girl.
Not
And she
this
sent over the
time.
clocks on the table for you.
This time things are a little bit different. Much different. Okay, so just get this back, as it were. And now that we have that out of the way, let's take a look at the sketchbook again because of his grandfather, Philip Knight. Which is kind of fucking creepy. I mean, seriously, that is kind of creepy. Okay, so... Right, you're probably wondering how you leave the bookstore
Dramatic
and
is-
other assorted things as well. So, you go and click on the door. Click the door here, and then Gabriel will grab his leather jacket. And then he will proceed to move on to the next location. Move on
I'm
back
outta
to the
here.
map.
Try not to sell out the store while I'm
Which is
gone.
basically, you leave Grace alone for the bit. The game mostly plays you as Gabriel. And you get this awesome cutscene of him actually going on the bike. And onto the map itself. Right. This is your map. You've noticed the three things clicking here. The Voodoo Museum, the Dixieland Drugstore, and of course the drugstore. You also may have noticed you can't go beyond New Orleans as you did before. That was the big question. I think this game has decided to prove that you have to find the crime. You have to do things with the crime scene relation in order to find other things. Now we can't exactly go beyond much, so what we're gonna do here is that we're actually go beyond 10 minutes. We're actually gonna end this episode off here. And before we end this episode, I'm probably going to update this a few episodes at a time because there's going to be a horror game coming up next week on the 24th, and it goes all the way to Halloween night itself. The game Shivers.